Here's my Epic the Musical hot take. It's not a hot take, it's more just sort of like a fan theory. But I think Odysseus knew Eurylochus opened the windbag. At the beginning of Puppeteer, Eurylochus is all like, look, I got to tell you something. And Odysseus is like, we have just been through the worst thing. I think it can wait. And Odysseus is a clever guy, and he knows his friend. And what could Eurylochus possibly have to confess after they just experienced the loss of their entire fleet? It makes sense that Odysseus would put two and two together. He's a smart guy. That's kind of like his thing. So I think he knew. I think in that moment, he understood what Eurylochus was trying to tell him. And I think he was telling Eurylochus, I forgive you, because he couldn't cope with breaking from Eurylochus at this point. He just lost so many men. He is heartbroken. And that's why he goes back into Circe's palace. He's like, look, maybe if we had the rest of the fleet, I could cut and run, but we have barely anything. I have to save these men for my own mental health. So I think he has to forgive Eurylochus in that moment and accept what has happened and just push it aside and not have to deal with it, because he can't cope with having the argument, with losing Eurylochus in that moment. Which is why, as funny as I think it is when people like have him be like, oh, light up 5 torches, and then Eurylochus is like, I open the windbag, and he's like 6 torches. No, I think that was always his plan. I'm just going to accept that I'm the monster and I have to sacrifice people. I don't think he's punishing Eurylochus for opening the windbag. I think it's just bad timing on Eurylochus's part to admit it, because he's not like, oh, he doesn't act like particularly shocked. He just sort of like moves on from it. And I think like the reason he's quiet going into Scylla is because he's already made this decision. He knows what he's going to do, and it's dark, and he has to cut himself off from his emotions. And Eurylochus is unfortunately unaware that this is about to happen. And then where his head is that he confessed something and then 6 of his men were sacrificed. So he is probably thinking that this was a punishment by Odysseus. But I don't think that's the case. I think Odysseus had always planned to do that, and I think it's just bad timing. So yeah, that's my opinion. That's my fan theory. That's my interpretation. And I think Eurylochus was totally in the right for mutinying. Having a mutiny